Hello, my name is Mark DeLarco. I'm the Dean of the College of Graduate Studies. I have been at San Jose State for about 15 years, and I hail originally from the chemistry department. The purpose of today's video is to give you a chance as new graduate students to get to know the leadership team in the College of Graduate Studies and find out a little bit about the resources and services that we can provide for graduate students. So to start off, I'd like to introduce my colleagues here on this video. So Jeff, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff Honda. I'm the Associate Dean for Graduate Programs here. And I've been at San Jose State for 26 years. Most of that time was spent as a faculty member in the Department of Biology. And I'm also a former student.
Thank you, Jeff. Amy, how about you?
Yes, thank you, and welcome everyone. I'm Amy Leisdring. I'm the Associate Dean of Inclusive Student Success in the College of Graduate Studies. I'm starting my 18th year here at San Jose State. And prior to this position, I was a professor in the sociology department.
Wonderful, thank you, Amy. So let's talk a little bit about the kinds of things that you do in your roles and how that can help to serve our wonderful graduate students. Jeff, do you want to start?
Sure, Mark. Well, I do quite a few things around here, but some of the things I think students will be interested in are things like scholarships. So I manage the College of Graduate Studies scholarships. I oversee a number of petitions that some of you may be filing in the future. I answer general questions about graduate curriculum, and I also evaluate new graduate programs.
Thank you, Jeff. Amy, would you like to say a little bit about your role?
Yeah, thank you. Like Jeff, I also do multiple things and wear a couple of different hats. One main thing is that I use my background with sociological research to conduct research within our college to assure equitable practices in graduate education. I also am in charge of our teaching associate training. So if any of you are serving as TAs, you will see me as a facilitator of that course. I assist with issues that graduate student athletes face. And I also help students with any academic challenges that they're facing. So if you have any problems along the road to your career, you can always reach out to me.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, and I'd like to maybe add a little bit to that. I think that for many of you new graduate students, you're going to have a wonderful and successful experience without a whole lot of bumps in the road. And you will be able to rely on the support of your program coordinators in your department to get through any questions that you might have. But for those of you who have more complex problems, either academically or in other ways, that might require that we marshal some resources from around the university to support you, we in the College of Graduate Studies can serve as sort of that concierge to help connect you with those resources. So all of us are at your service to try to help you if you do encounter those kinds of problems. In terms of contacting us, I guess this would be a good time for me to say how you can do that. By email, the simplest way is to write to our general email address, which then can get routed to the appropriate person to help. So that is graduate-studies@sjsu.edu. We also would welcome meeting you in person. We have a College of Graduate Studies office, and you're welcome to stop by to say hello, to make an appointment for a conversation. We are located in the administration building, room 174. So please do stop by and say hello. And then there are a series of written resources that will be able to answer many of the questions that will come up in the course of your graduate career. And so I just want to summarize what some of those are and direct you to them. A lot of this orientation programming is around connecting you with these resources. The first is I want to let you know that a lot of information can be found on the College of Graduate Studies website, which can be found at sjsu.edu/CGS. Among the things on that website is a link to a very valuable document, the Graduate Student Handbook, which is really the organizing document for this entire orientation. So I encourage you to please go to our website, find that link, and take a look at that document. That if I were starting a graduate program at San Jose State, I would bookmark that document. And then the third useful resource that you may want to refer to is the SJSU University Catalog. So that is found at catalog.sjsu.edu. So with that, I think I'd like to turn to a little bit lighter subject and actually talk a little bit more about who we are as people, just so you have a sense of who the leadership in the CGS is and how, learn a little bit more about us. So to give you a flavor of who we are, I'd like to start by maybe asking each of us to describe a little bit about our scholarly passion. So Jeff, starting with you, what is your scholarly passion?
Thanks, Mark. Well, I'm an entomologist, so anything that involves bugs is something that I'm really passionate about. But really, I'm interested in two areas. One is insect ecology, and that's the study of insects that determines the abundance and distribution patterns of different species. So I've been working on that for a number of years, looking at things like the impacts of climate change, invasive species, and habitat destruction. But my other passion is forensic entomology, which is the study of insects and how they relate to legal issues. So if you're familiar with CSI and watch some of those programs, I'm sure you've seen instances where scientists have looked at insects and determined things such as time of death and things of that nature. So I've been focusing some of my later research in some of those areas.
Thank you, Jeff. Amy, how about you? What are your scholarly passions?
Sure. Thanks, Mark. Before I share mine, I would like to say that as an outdoorsy person, I happen to really like bugs, and it's been great to work with Jeff and learn more about bugs and insects in this area. So I do not study bugs. I actually study people as a sociologist. And I'm really fascinated actually by multiple aspects of our social world. My original interest was in gender. I actually have a women's studies graduate certificate as part of my PhD. And I started out by doing some research in the area of domestic violence. And I was interested also in looking at how gender intersects with other social identities like race, class, sexual identity, and things like that, to see how those shape people's experiences. And more recently, I have shifted that focus to look at the experiences of students, specifically now students at San Jose State. So I think I'd mentioned before that I do some research, just seeing what types of experiences students have at the university, how they might be shaped by their different demographic factors. And yeah, so it's really exciting to be able to use my sociology background to now help students in the College of Graduate Studies. Thank
you, Amy. As for me, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a chemist, and I'm trained actually as a synthetic organic chemist, which means that my laboratory is focused on making organic molecules. But my real passion is in human health. And so my entire career has really been dedicated to finding ways in which we can synthesize molecules which will benefit human health. And what that usually means is identifying a particular disease process. And the two that I have most focused on in my career are diabetes and cancer. And then identifying ways in which we might interfere with those disease processes with a new molecule that has never been made before, and then evaluating whether those molecules could actually be drug candidates for the treatment of those diseases. So my greatest passion is to go from the blackboard to the clinic in terms of developing new medicines. So with that, I'd like to turn to the local area. While some of you have been in San Jose for some time or in the Bay Area, for some of you, the San Jose region is very new. And so since, as you heard earlier, we've all been here for a bit of time, I thought we might tell you some ideas about things to do in the area. So maybe I'll start with you, Jeff. Can you say anything about what your favorite things are to do in the area?
Sure, Mark. I really enjoy sports, and we're very fortunate in San Jose and in the Bay Area to have a lot of professional sports teams that you can go and root for. I particularly like going to Earthquakes soccer games, San Jose Giants games, and taking, take in the scenery there. So they're very local, and they don't cost a lot of money to attend these games.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Amy, how about you? What do you like to do in the area?
Yeah, so I am originally from the East Coast, where there was a lot of different types of water, because I'm from Maryland. And I'm very outdoorsy, and I love exploring places here where there's a lot of water. And there's a lot of different options. So you can, if you like the ocean, as long as the traffic isn't too bad, you can head over to Santa Cruz or some of the beaches north and south of there. Beautiful beaches, and it's about a 45-minute drive, like I said, if there's not traffic. On a really hot day, it could take a long time. You got to leave early. But I also really like exploring lakes. There is, you can go to Lake Tahoe. It's a little bit of a further drive. There's some other great lakes that are north of here. Obviously, there's amazing places to see water at Yosemite National Park, which is also not, it's a bit of a drive, but it's not too bad to get there. And then more locally, as long as we've had some rain, which we haven't in the past few years, but hopefully we'll get some this winter. And there's some great places locally, some state parks where you can do some hiking. I'm also really into bird photography. So I like to go and see what types of birds are hanging out in our local state and county parks.
Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I'd like to pick up on that theme because I think that many of you have come to San Jose State for the educational opportunities and the innovation opportunities that are in the area. But once you come here, you realize that the climate is wonderful, and I have to say also the produce is wonderful. So get to those farmers markets and have some wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables. But what I enjoy is the outdoor environment, and I like to go hiking. And one of my favorite places to hike is a place called Pinnacles National Monument, which is about an hour and a half south of San Jose. It's a fairly vigorous hike in the sense that it can take 4 or 5 hours to complete the round trip up to the top and back, but it's very well worth it in my opinion. I would encourage you though not to go when it's very hot because it can be very warm on this hike, so it's a better hike in cooler weather. But one of the benefits of that particular hike is that there's a chance of seeing the California condor, which lives in the area and which is an absolutely wonderful, majestic bird. All right, with that, let's turn our attention to more local things in San Jose. We've all got to eat. Are there any good places that you know of to eat that are not too expensive and that are nearby, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. I can think of one area. I've always enjoyed walking down to San Pedro Square. It's a very short walk from campus. It's got a lot of different restaurants that you can choose from, and food's good. So I would recommend San Pedro Square.
Sounds great. How about you, Amy? Anything you like to eat in the area?
Yes, I am a huge lover of food, and there's a very wide variety of ethnic food. There's great Indian food, there's great Thai food, but closest to campus, less than a mile away, is Japantown. It's really close to campus. I used to live there. They have great sushi restaurants that are actually, I think, some of the more reasonably priced ones in the entire area. And they also have a really great Korean food restaurant. It's called Omagari, and it's definitely reasonably priced. So I would encourage everyone to walk up there at some point to check out the food in Japantown.
That sounds great. Thank you, Amy. As for me, I like places that are really close by. One of the places I frequent is the Banh Mi Oven, which is on San Fernando Street, almost literally right across the street from the building in which I work and the administration building. It has very reasonably priced banh mi sandwiches, which are delicious in my opinion. Then just a little further down San Fernando, if you're interested in a little bit more of an upscale eating experience, is Mezcal, which is a Mexican restaurant, which has a focus on Oaxacan cuisine. And so it has lots of great moles and things like that. So all of those places are wonderful, and there are many, many more in the area that I hope that you'll have a chance to explore while you're here in San Jose. So with that, I want to once again welcome you to San Jose State University. you're going to have a wonderful graduate experience. And please feel free to stop by in Admin 174 to say hello. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.